One of the things that kills weight loss motivation is when you lose and gain back the same 10 to 20 pounds over and over again. And if you've been there, you know what it's like. You lose 10, 15, maybe 20 pounds, clothes are fitting better and you're looking amazing, you feel amazing. And then it's like 3 months later, you're back where you started again and trying to figure out what went wrong. And this is something that I've been through over the years, over and over again. It happened to my clients as well. And you might be thinking that something is wrong. Like, what is wrong with me? You might wonder, like, why can't I stay motivated? You might think that you need more willpower or that you just don't want your goals badly enough. And maybe you blame yourself. You think it's all your fault. You're lazy, you're unmotivated, and a whole host of other things that can go through your mind when this happens to you. But what if I told you that none of those are actually the reasons why this happens? And that it's actually a threat response from your brain and your nervous system that's what's causing the problem here. And that until you fix that, it doesn't matter what diet you try or how much you work out or how hard or how often, it will always feel like losing weight is this uphill battle. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about what is going on in your brain and nervous system and how this threat response actually keeps you stuck in the same cycle of losing and gaining back the same 10 to 20 pounds over and over again. And I will share why motivation, willpower, a new diet and workout are not the answer. And I'll also walk you through a couple of simple neurotraining, brain-based weight loss drills that you can do to help you break the cycle. One of the things that it makes me chuckle a little bit when I hear it all the time is when I hear statements like, weight loss is just calories in versus calories out. It's all about eating less and exercising more. And as long as you burn more calories than you consume, it's like weight loss is that easy. It just will happen then. And I'm not going to dispute diet and exercise. They are important and they are necessary tools to lose weight. They absolutely are. So I'm not disputing that. The thing is that we have to look at the bigger picture. If you are struggling to lose weight because you have things like food cravings that you're constantly battling, that you're constantly giving into, if you are binging out on foods and it seems like you know what you need to do, but you can't get yourself to do it, there's more going on than just calories in versus calories out, because the best diet and workout program on the planet is absolutely useless when it comes to weight loss if you can't stick with it. Because the struggles with food and cravings and skipping workouts and all these things that we tend to struggle with in our efforts to lose weight actually are driven from the brain and the nervous system. These are behaviors that are responses to a brain and a nervous system that are perceiving threats to your survival. And until you fix this issue, it's like you're forever going to be fighting this uphill battle where you're trying to rely on sheer motivation and willpower in order to lose weight and keep it off. And the problem with that is that eventually motivation and willpower run out. They're very fleeting, they're very unreliable, and when they run out, then what are you left with? You start to revert back to old habits, which means that you get back into your old eating habits and all the things that led to you being overweight to begin with, and then you're right back where you started before you know it. So let's talk about your brain real quick to put this all together. Your brain's number one job is to keep you alive. It's not to keep you fit or to get you lean. So your brain is always trying to answer the question, am I safe? Well, things that often get interpreted as threats by your brain and nervous system are things like stress over money, work-related stress, financial issues. It could be relationship issues that go on. It could be chronic pain that you're in. It could be nutritional issues from foods that you're eating. It could be lack of sleep. It could be when you are on too strict of a diet, or it could be from doing too much in your workouts. There's a lot of different inputs that can come in that can be interpreted as threats to your survival, because your brain doesn't care that you're trying to lose weight. It cares about keeping you safe. And when your brain is activating its survival responses, one of the ways or one of the things that we need to survive is enough energy coming in through food. So your brain will send signals to get you to eat. And because you're producing more stress hormones, you're more likely to store this food as fat. So this is where the problems start to happen. And hopefully now you can see where the whole threat perception is a huge issue when you're trying to reach your weight loss goals. A year and a half ago, I had lost some weight and I was stuck at a plateau where the scale wasn't moving no matter what I did. And at the time, I was working out 5 days a week, sometimes 6. I was working out very hard. I was on a strict diet, a strict calorie deficit. And no matter how hard I tried to push myself, no matter how strict my diet was, it's like the scale wasn't moving. And on top of that, I started to have problems with my sleep where I was tossing, turning all night. I wasn't sleeping good. My energy was going down in the tank. I was moody and irritable a lot. I was hungry all the time, dealing with food cravings that was leading me into binging on all the stuff I knew I wasn't supposed to eat. But I just was so out of control. I was wondering why I couldn't control myself when it came to food. And the problem was that I didn't realize at the time was that my brain was perceiving high levels of threat because I was on such a strict calorie deficit, and where there was not enough energy was coming in compared to what was going out. So my brain was under a high level of threat, and it started giving me signals to eat to the point where, I ignored it for a while and kind of used willpower and motivation, but it only lasted so long before I gave into it and I couldn't control it any longer, because your survival mechanisms are stronger than willpower and motivation, right? They will outlast willpower and motivation because your brain is designed to keep you alive. So the crazy thing about it is that when I started to realize I couldn't do this anymore, so I backed off my workouts to 3 to 4 workouts a week, and I upped my calories a bit, and it was almost overnight, it seemed like. My sleep went right back to normal, my energy started to come back, my mood was better, and the weight started to come off again. So let's talk about the 2 most common things that are always talked about is diet and exercise, right? That weight loss is all about calories in versus calories out, or it's all about your macros, right? You got to have the right amount of carbs, proteins, fats. Now, these are important, right? These are logical solutions, and they're much needed to lose weight. I won't dispute the importance of diet and exercise. However, we got to keep in mind that these are kind of logical, rational solutions to losing weight. However, the threat response in your brain and nervous system it's a survival response. And when it comes down to it, like in order of importance, survival will always win over logic and rational thinking. So when your brain is perceiving high levels of threat, what it does is it activates the survival response in your midbrain. And that means that you're more likely to engage in survival type behaviors where you're skipping workouts, you are dealing with food cravings and overeating or binge eating or just making poor food choices. And what happens also is that the prefrontal cortex, the area of logical, rational thinking, becomes inhibited. It's like the midbrain and the prefrontal cortex almost are antagonistic to each other. When threat level is high, logic and rational thinking are basically inhibited, and vice versa. When threat perception comes down, now our logical, rational thinking comes back online. We have more access to it, and we're more likely to be able to stick with nutrition plan and do things like workouts. Diet and exercise, even though they're important tools when we're trying to lose weight, they are not enough to decrease threat in the brain. So if we're not decreasing threat, then we're always going to be stuck in that same on again, off again cycle where we kind of lose the same 10, 15, 20 pounds over and over. We lose it and we gain it back. When threat is low, then we're able to stick with the plan and follow through. But when threat gets high, we start sabotaging ourselves, we're giving into food cravings, we're skipping workouts, and on the cycle goes. So it's almost like every time we're taking 2 steps forward and then we're getting pulled 2 steps back and never really getting to where we want to go, and we're never really achieving our weight loss goals. So this is where neurotraining drills come in, because neurotraining drills are a way to decrease threat in the brain and nervous system. This is a good drill to use whenever you are feeling exhausted. Could be at the end of the day or into the evening, or when you feel that late night kind of urge to snack starts to come on, or those food cravings are going to come on. This is a great way to reset the visual system and to calm that down. So basically what you're doing is you are just taking your fingers and you are massaging very gently in small circles 4 different areas around the eyes. One is right above, like the eyelids up in here. You do about 4 to 5 circles in each direction. Another one is right down here below. You just kind of close your eyes and do the massage. I won't go through the whole thing, but this is the idea. One is right out here outside the eyes, and then one is right in here, not in the tear duct, but just a little below, right around in there. So massaging those areas, like I said, 4 to 5 circles in each direction, eyes closed. Make sure that you are breathing calmly, deeply, and slowly as you do this. All right, so our second neurotraining drill is called high-low breathing, and this is good to use anytime after a long, stressful day, or when you're feeling like you want to raid the pantry or your refrigerator. So basically, take one hand, put it on your chest, and another hand, I don't know if I can get in the camera, I'll back up and put it on your belly. And so you're taking deep breath, I'll show from the side, into your belly, and you want to feel the hand on your belly moving. So you're just breathing slow and deep into your belly. And then breathing it out. So that's really where you want to feel the first movement happen and the most movement happen. So by doing this drill, what we're doing is we're basically sending signals to the brain that communicate safety. It's like telling the brain you're safe, and when you feel safe, you're less likely to be experiencing things like cravings. And then the third neurotraining drill is a basic isometric chest activation drill. So think of it like almost like doing a fly, where you have like a wall and you put your the palm of your hand up against the wall, and you're just going to lightly press, arms straight with a very slight bend in the elbow. Just take one arm and you push into the wall, and you're not twisting or turning your body, you're facing straight at it, and you're pushing into that wall, pushing pretty hard for about 10 to 30 seconds. Don't go as hard as you can go. It shouldn't be so hard that you're having to really clench and hold your breath, because that can drive threat into the brain and nervous system and increase threat instead of decrease it. But you want just enough tension to where what we're trying to do is we're trying to activate the prefrontal cortex. And so that is the area of logic and rational thinking. So by driving some energy and activation into that area of the brain, what we're trying to do is we're basically trying to regain access to that part of our brain, because when we do, that's where we tend to make better decisions when it comes to food. We're less likely to be dealing with things like hunger cravings, which means that we're less likely to be engaging in stress eating, binge eating, and overeating. So you're just holding that contraction for about 10 to 30 seconds. Repeat it on both sides, right and left sides, and then repeat that cycle 2 to 3 times through. So here's your action plan in putting all of this together. So number 1, don't blame willpower or lack of motivation. It's not your diet. It's not your workout plan. Look for threat instead. You want to be assessing for threat. So you want to ask yourself questions like, am I tired right now? Do I feel hungry? Am I cold? Am I stressed? Am I in pain? Because those are some of the common drivers of threat in the brain and nervous system that can lead to food cravings and binge eating and skipping workouts. You can also ask yourself questions like, what areas in my life do I feel stressed in right now? So is it around relationships? Is it around money? Is it around work? Is it around your health? It could be, a number of different areas, or it could be one particular area. But assess for threat is number one. Second thing is to pick one drill. So any of the neurotraining drills that I talked about, the eye massage, you can do the high-low breathing, you can stack the high-low breathing with the humming, or you can do the chest isometric contraction, or what you can do, a super effective way to use those drills is to stack them, where you do the eye massage, follow it with the high-low breathing, and then follow that up with the chest activation, because they do piggyback off one another. And so you can do it that way as well. Number three is to use these drills whenever you feel stressed, or you feel tired, or you feel like the hunger cravings or the binge eating might be coming on. Now, the key to this is to try to develop awareness. And you want to develop that so that you can sense when these things are happening before it actually happens. You don't want to wait to do a neurotraining drill when you're grabbing food out of the refrigerator or out of the cupboards, because it's probably already a little bit late at that point. But you do want to try to develop enough awareness that you do these drills before the cravings hit. When you notice that you're tired, or you notice that you're feeling stressed, you notice that you are in pain, or something's coming on that makes you think that if I don't do something now, I might be battling the craving monster, or I might go into a binge. Some of the key times when this can happen could be at the end of the workday, when you're tired, you have maybe decision fatigue going on, or it can happen in the evening, especially late at night when cravings tend to hit. So comment below, let me know which drill you are going to try first, and let me know how it goes. And if you'd like a full-length video or a tutorial of any of the drills that I talked about in this video, then feel free to comment below, let me know. And in the meantime, if you like this video and you'd like to see more videos like this with brain-based weight loss strategies that you can use to help break through weight loss plateaus, then again, comment below, be sure to click subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss new videos as I post them. And in the meantime, be sure to check out this video.